So today, I guess the first thing I'm going to start with before I get into the presentation, is this better? Okay, is that we're launching a usability study. So if any of you want to contact us at the end, there'll be a link to our a Medium article about this talk and the links to a form to fill out, or you can contact us on Twitter if you want to help us with any of the usability studies we're going to do at DevConnect and on the road to DevCon to get Remix better and better. And so with that, I'll get on to Remix in the Rockies, Remix for hackathons. So hackathons, like you got to learn stuff quickly, and you got to collaborate with your fellow team members who you may not have met before, and you got to import code from other projects, and you got to use normal development tools for debugging, and you got to deploy to multiple chains probably, and you got to make a prototype and show to judges who probably may or may not have any experience or have any patience left because they've been judging too many projects already. And you also need to know where your files are stored. So let's get going. So faking it till you're making it, which is part of Remix. So the first thing you got to know is we have a tutorial tool right inside of Remix that can help you learn Solidity and learn Remix and learn some design patterns and a bunch of interesting things. Here's this interesting one we just put in called Remix, the Solidity Beginner course. I'll go through that a bit more. So in the beginner course, you know, it's all these examples taken from Solidity by Example, which is a website you all should know about when you have Solidity questions, or you need to know, like, how to make that loop again? Or what's the syntax for this or that? You can go there. He's got videos, but we've got some instructions about his examples, walking you through them and giving you a little chance to try coding, and it'll correct it. And so the other thing to know is that people sometimes complain when their browser crashes, where do the files go? Because Remix is not a Google Doc. Because Google, you sign in, it saves it on the Google servers, but in Remix there's no servers. It's just saved to your local storage. Well, it is out of the box. So, and local storage is limited in size. So either you gotta save it on local storage, but soon it's gonna get bigger with IndexedDB, which is gonna be in the next release. But you can use that now on Remix Alpha if you just wanna use Remix out of the box, save to local storage. But if your browser crashes, you still lose your work, unless you save it, which I'll get into in the next few slides about saving it remotely with dgit on GitHub. But anyway, or you can save it to your hard drive using RemixD. So if you're developing a small project, just use the out-of-the-box one. And use dgit to push to a remote repo. And if you're using a larger one, use alpha. And then you can also just push to GitHub to share your code. And if you want to use to make it store on your hard drive, then you use RemixD. So here's Remix. And this is how you connect to RemixD. You go to the File Explorer, and then you click the workspace, you select connect to local workspace, you get this modal, then it tells you some info about how to get the RemixD script running in the background. And you get, that's the command line. So the cool thing is, like, RemixD is gonna break the security sandbox between the browser and your hard drive, but you're specifying which folder on your hard drive and which instance of Remix you're running. So you're limiting the scale of the breach of the security sandbox. So then if you want to share your information, you load up dgit, which is another plugin. By the way, does everyone know how to load up a plugin in Remix? Uh-oh. See this little, well, anyway, at the bottom left of the screen, this is called the icons panel. This is the side panel, and this is the main panel. And at the bottom left of the icon panel, there's a little plug. So click that plug, and the plugin manager will come up. Or you can also load up plugins in this part over here. Also, if people have any questions, just interrupt me. So anyway, you can put your GitHub settings in there. Then you can clone a repo. And you can clone a repo. What's going on here? You can clone a repo. Anyway, it has all the Git functionality. And so you can push and pull and clone and share your work and make PRs on the shared repo that you're working with your teammates on. How much time do I have left, by the way? Okay. So what's this one about? This one is, yeah, so I just pulled in this repo, and so now I made a little update, and then I can see the changes, and if I click over here on this, this is the gridmix.sol. If I click on gridmix, and the next one, I can see the diff. And then, so then you can push and make the PRs. And if you want to get a gist, does everyone know what a gist is? So if you want to push a gist, publish a gist in Remix, you go to the File Explorer, you right-click on a folder or a file, and you can publish a gist. You do have to have your GitHub credentials set up in the settings panel, which is below the plug here. It's a little gear down here. Also, you can change the themes in Remix to make it a light theme or dark theme, and save your eyes or burn your eyes, depending on your preference. And then also, like you're in a hackathon, you make some code, but you got to justify your code. So a good way to do that is using NatSpec comments. And these are this section up here, it's a NatSpec. This is like a Solidity kind of comments that get compiled and put in the compiled contracts metadata. And then you can use a plugin called the ethdoc generator and the ethdoc viewer that you put up ethdoc here, and you'll get these two plugins. Load them up, and with a compiled contract, you get this doc. And this has taken the @dev comment, and it's making that the description of what this function's about. So you can take this and explain it to your teammates, or unfortunately, you can't export this file. So in a way, sometimes you have to like grab screenshots and explain them that way. And if you want to import files to Remix, which you will need to do, either dependencies or files to edit, if you want to import files to edit on the Home tab, you got these buttons down at the bottom, or you can also use the Sourceify plugin to fetch verified contracts. But when you use the GIST, the GitHub, the IPFS, and the HTTPS, a modal will come up, and it will ask you, what the address is. If you're importing dependencies or libraries, just in your Solidity files, you just put the import statement, and if it's an npm package, it's going to go out to unpackage, and then it's going to grab that and put it into Remix in the .deps folder. So like in a typical file, it's this. Here's the import statements, and that's enough. You don't have to have them loaded. Remix will go out and get them. Also, you should know about this wizard from OpenZeppelin. So you can grab your coin contracts and set up the different functionality, and then you click the Open in Remix button, and then it will open up a version of in Remix. And when it does, it opens up in this workspace called Code Sample. So probably when you're like gonna work on your project, you need to set up your own workspace. So you'd probably just copy this file and put it in your own workspace and go to town. And if you want to work with Hardhat devs and you're working on Remix, then you have to have running remixd. And in the compiler, there'll be a little thing that says compile Hardhat. And then you can also when you do that, you get a this Remix compiler config file that Hardhat compiler will read. Because the compilation is actually happening on the Hardhat project and then gets pulled up in Remix. And you can deploy to a Hardhat chain too. So you could be having like the rest of the devs can be working on Hardhat, you could be working on Remix, and it's all copacetic. You need to have a debugger. To get to the debugger, do a transaction, and then click debug. The debugger comes up, and you can step through transactions. You can use the slider over here. You can check out what the Solidity state variables. You can put breakpoints and jump to breakpoints. And we have the console.log functionality now. So when you just use the import statement in your Solidity file, use import console, use this line, and then you can put your console logs, and then the result will be in the Remix terminal, which you can't read down there, but you will on your own machine. Deploying to L2s is simple. You just select the L2 you want, and in MetaMask. So what you choose injected Web3 in the environment of the deploy and run, and you just get some local currency, because you can't do that. You can't deploy without some currency. So get the currency, choose the L2 in MetaMask, and you're set. There's the injected Web3, and you choose the network of your choice. In this one, I'm deploying to Cove on Optimism. And I'm still deploying there. And you probably need to get your front end together. And to get the front end together, you need your ABI. And to get your ABI, you go to the Solidity compiler, and you select the ABI button down here. And that will get your ABI copied, and you can just put that in your front end. And in Remix, it's kind of cool, because if you can't get your front end together, you can just show them Remix. And since it's a GUI, you can see the function, and you put in your input, and you hit transact, and you can show them, oh, that works. And they'll say, okay, hopefully. And that's it.